In this lesson, we will cover weight painting techniques. What I'd like to do is walk you through my process for painting weights. It's a really straightforward formula. We'd go in and block in our weighting, and then we'd refine afterwards. Now, though this may seem pretty basic, it still may require a lot of time and effort to get something that's very polished. But as long as we can keep this formula in mind, we can make this a much more manageable process. It's a lot better than jumping in and refining weights immediately, which can be a nightmare. Let's go ahead and get to it. We'll go to wireframe mode and we'll select neck muscle end. From there, we'll go back to shaded mode, we'll turn on auto key, and we'll add some animation. That way we can keep track of our progress. Let's create an extreme pose so we can see what parts of the mesh collapse in and what holds well. So you can see the area around the jaw needs a little bit of work. Let's go ahead and move to frame 40 and we'll rotate in the opposite direction. Great! I think we're ready to get started. Let's turn off auto key. We'll grab the face, and now we can enter into edit envelope mode. We'll also turn on vertices. The reason why is because I like to actually go in and grab the points that I'd like to block in first with the weight table, and then we can start to use the paintbrush if we need to refine areas that still need to be touched up a bit. Let's go to more of a side view, and then we'll go to wireframe mode and we'll select all of the points that should be weighted to our head bone. I'll hold down Control to add more vertices to my selection. Sweet. So this looks good. So watch this. Let's go ahead and press F3. We'll go ahead and jump back to more of a 3/4 view. Now let's go ahead and scroll down all the way until we find our weight table. There it is. So once we go ahead and activate it, we have this type of Excel sheet that shows us our weighting for all the vertices. Let's go ahead and switch this from all vertices to selected vertices. Nice. Now again, we're weighting to our head bone, right? We can go ahead and select one of our vertices, and then we'll go ahead and press Ctrl A to highlight them all. Now we can go ahead and add the value of 1 for 100% in our head bones column. Once we do that, all weighting has now been redirected to the head bone. So watch this. If we were to close out of the weight table, you'll now notice that we no longer have that collapsing issue that we saw before. How cool. Nice. And then once we've done that, well, then it's just a matter of refining your weighting with either the paintbrush, or we could actually do that from the weight table, which I prefer for more lower res meshes like this one. Let's say we do this. We'll go ahead and take a look at how our geometry looks with a turbo smooth node, because that will give us an idea of how the final polished mesh will look. So we'll go ahead and apply a turbo smooth node, and we'll start to scrub. And take a look, that holds really well. Fantastic. What we could do then is go ahead and disable the turbo smooth node. We can then go ahead and jump back to our skin modifier. Let's go ahead and enter back into edit envelope mode. And then we could start to look for points that need to be smoothed out a bit more. So there is an area right here around the neck. Let's go ahead and press F3 to go to wireframe mode, and we'll grab this edge loop. I'll hold down Control to add more to my selection, just to make sure we grab the entire loop. And now we can go back to shaded mode. From here, we can jump back to our weight table. So if we were to go ahead and scroll down in the weight table, you'll have an idea as to what we need to basically weight. So we know that the start controller for the neck is here, so that's A and that's B. So what we can do is start to add more weight to neck C. Let's go ahead and grab all of our vertices, and then we can go to just one of these rows underneath neck C, and we can start to left click and drag to add more weighting to smooth that out a bit more. How nice. Great, so that's looking much more polished already. Now we have these points that are being pulled in a very extreme way, so what we'll need to do is smooth that out a bit more. And this can be weighted to, let's say, our head bone. So I'll go ahead and find that. It should be at the start of the list. So we can go ahead and increase weight to go ahead and bring that point back. Much nicer. Fantastic. Now we don't want to only create 2 poses here. Let's do this. We'll go ahead and exit Edit Envelope mode. We'll now go back to our end controller. So that's muscle end. With that selected, let's go ahead and Alt-right click on frame 0 and choose Delete Selected Animation to clear out all of our keyframes. Now, we can jump back to shaded mode, turn on Auto Key, and pose the head in a different direction. Let's go ahead and rotate it back. Alright, sweet. And then, on frame 40, we can rotate it forward. Nice, we're just taking a look at our topology. We can go ahead and press F4 to take a look at our wireframe, just to see what collapses and what holds really well. I actually like this result. I think we can smooth out the back of the neck a little bit more, but I'll leave that up to you because it's really straightforward. And I'm going to also show you another way we can start to refine weighting with the paintbrush in the following lesson when we get to reweighting the character's shoes. But what I'd like to do now is actually go ahead and lock down the base of the neck. So let's do this. We'll go back to Edit Envelope mode. We'll then go ahead and select all of the points right here, again at the base of the neck. That way it does not separate when we start to pull at our head control. We'll go to our weight table. Let's go ahead and search for neck start. There it is. So we'll go ahead and grab all of these points, and we'll add the value 1 underneath the neck muscle start column. Sweet. So as we start to scrub, they should not separate. Very nice. Looks like there's a point here that I accidentally selected. No worries. I'll just go ahead and weight that back to neck A. That won't take much time at all. We'll jump back to our weight table. We'll find neck A. There it is. And we'll start to add some weighting. If you really wanted to, you can select another point just to have a look at its weighting. So here we have 0.9 for neck B and 0.002 for neck A. So with that in mind, we can go ahead and use that same type of weighting. I might start by adding a value of 1 for neck B, and then we can go ahead and add 0.002 for neck A. There we go. We'll do the same thing for the next point. I'll go ahead and zoom in, select it. Again, that's going to be 1 for neck B, and then 0.002 for neck A. Fantastic. All right, so that looks great. Let's go ahead and take a look at something before we close this lesson off. We'll go ahead and jump back to frame 0. Let's exit Edit Envelope mode, and we'll remove the animation on our head controller. What I'll do is go ahead and right-click with Alt, and I'll use Delete Selected Animation. Let's go ahead and turn off Auto Key. We'll go back to shaded mode, and let's go ahead and start to move this around. Take a look at the volume we keep in the neck. How exciting. So this is looking great. All right, I'll go ahead and use Transform to 0 to bring this back. And that's going to be it for this lesson. So in the following lesson, I'm going to go ahead and work on the character's shoes. We'll learn how to work with the paintbrush, and I'll also show you how to mirror weights across 2 different objects.